Yo, what's happening, Bulls? Happy hump day. Triple C, Chad's Crypto Catch Up. We're live, let's do it. We've got a lot to catch up on. It's been a pretty crazy couple of days in crypto. I've got a lot to show you. We'll start with the news, get it over and done with for people that are just interested in that. They think they can fundamentally trade this market. And then we'll move on to a couple of charts at the end. We'll keep it relatively quick. I'm trying to do these as fast as possible whilst also informative. So together we will catch up on the crypto market. How's that sound? All right. You can fast forward any bits that you don't want to watch. Anyways, so what we're starting with here is a lot. Pretty much, I'll give you the rundown. The gist of things is what's going on. Simply put, is there was a massive volatility contraction over the weekend. We were getting blue bars on larger time frames, all the way up to the H6 on Bitcoin, H12 on some altcoins, even the daily. A big move was about to happen. Often with these big moves, if there's enough liquidity above or below, there will be what's called a head fake. The prices will jerk in one direction, liquidate all of the people that think that they're comfortable in, say, for example, a long. Massive cascading liquidations, stop losses hit the whole way through, the whole way down, and then back up in the true direction. So anybody that was long, anybody thought that they were going to go long and thought they were going to profit from the market going up, they're sitting in these longs, and human greed, etc. They've got stop losses, say from they're long at 90, they've got stop losses all the way down to 83k. It's never going to hit. Bang, hits, bang, straight back up within 12 hours before you could even jump back in, or while you're asleep, or etc. And that's pretty much what's happened. Lots of good news. We've been talking about this in the last couple of videos that I've done, right? So good news has been constant. Price has been volatile. Don't try and trade it don't get emotionally attached to these bearish ideas, is what I've been saying. All right, let's look into it. So overnight, the Federal Reserve officially ends QT, officially ends quantitative tightening. What does that mean? Well, let's just find one that explains it a little bit better for you. The printer is on. Fuck. The printer is on. Sorry, headphone users. Breaking: Fed just pumped $13.5 billion into the US banking system through overnight repos. The second largest liquidity injection ever, just behind COVID. So, okay, you can see here. Overnight repurchasement agreements, Treasury securities purchased by the Federal Reserve in the temporary open market operations. Look at this. All right, unheard of over the last 5 years. Moving on to it, there was another, here we go, old Larkin again. The Fed has officially ended QT, but that's not all. They also dropped the hint for QE, quantitative easing, by injecting $13.5 billion into the banking system overnight. The second overnight repo operation since COVID. And overnight repo operations just doesn't happen without a reason. It happens when banks are struggling to meet short-term liquidity needs or maintain their balance sheet requirement. The same happened in late early 2020. Most people think COVID was the main reason for QE, but the repo market started flashing warnings months earlier. We're seeing the same pattern again. If these repo operations continue, the next phase of liquidity expansion is a lot closer. It's just money printing. It's just money print to go brrr, and there's just many different ways that they can do it. So they can inject liquidity, money into the economy, into the governments in multitude of ways, and this is repos are one of the most popular and common ways to do it. In the past, if you've seen that chart, it was like relatively active until COVID, boom, quiet. Now it's happening again. The next thing to talk about or show you, pretty cool, is more institutionalization. Great, yes, here we go. Where are we? Hang on. Where the fuck's going on? Let's see. Fuck, that's quiet. Hold on. One sec. Alright, this is not going to come through loud enough for you, I don't think. But pretty much I'll just say it for you. As you can see, 4 trillion. JP Morgan just said live on CNBC, Bitcoin is now leading indicator for the entire US market. All right, it's really quiet, so don't worry about that one. We got more. It's pretty much the same thing saying here. Just in, Bank of America now recommends a 4% Bitcoin and crypto allocation to wealth management clients. Imagine hearing this 5 years ago, you wouldn't. It's they're all coming out. They're all coming out to play, my boys. They are all coming out to play. These institutions, all at the same time, and they all basically do it when the market is at a good price for the investors to get around their ideas. It's no coincidence the timing of it all. All right, so let's have a little look at the SEC chair. The SEC chair, Paul Atkins. What he's got to say.
Crypto without legislation, and can you do what needs to be done with crypto without legislation? And do you think that can happen before the end of the year?
Well, we'll see. We're working with Congress, and we're providing what we call technical assistance to them regarding legislation to make sure that they're staying on what makes sense and that meshes with other laws and whatnot. And we'll see. I can't prognosticate that, but we have enough authority to drive forward. I'm looking forward to having an innovation exemption that we've been talking about now. We'll be able to get that out in a month or so is what I'm hoping. We were impeded a bit by the government shutdown. Obviously, we couldn't work on things during that time, but we're on track, and we will be able to forge forward with the crypto area and make sure that we are able to embrace this new area of innovation that for too long the United States basically is just pushed back against. And so I'm looking forward to having rules that are focused on helping that sector of the economy move forward.
Bullish. It's just all shit that you expect though. If you're in this industry for long enough, you're just like, this shit is just going to continue. You know it's going to continue, and it's just all as per. Everything is as per. The thing with it is when it comes to all these fundamentals and the news and stuff like that, it's all good to know, but at the end of the day, it's infotainment. Most of it's infotainment because we just know already that it's just going to be mass adopted. So this is just infotainment along the path. It's hopium if your bags are down, especially if we're talking about good, positive altcoin news. People tend to like that the most. Yeah, hopium, infotainment, and then just mixed with facts that you probably could already assume that is inevitable. So enjoy it as you will. Probably nothing. The Vanguard effect. Bitcoin jumps 6% right around US Open on first day after Bitcoin ETF ban lifted. Coincidence? I think not. Also, 1 billion in IBIT volume in the first 30 minutes of trading. I knew those Vanguardians had a little degen in them. Even some of the most conservative investors like to add a little hot sauce to their portfolio. Like everybody. You got to remember Bitcoin in the 80s, we were just constantly bull posting, and in the blockchain bulls is just Bitcoin in the 80s is just a fucking steal, down from 126 to 80k. Are you kidding? Still mid bull run. You're not top timing, are you? Mid. Yes, I said it. Mid. It's opinion. Let's listen to this Wally real quick. What's he got to say?
I would say that this man is not to be trifled with. Saylor will come on Squawk. He'll come on everywhere. He'll come on every show. It wouldn't shock me. He pops up at the White House for all I know. He will do whatever's necessary. He is the Malcolm X of Bitcoin, okay? Malcolm X, yes, right? Yes. By any means necessary, he will defeat the shorts. Defeat the shorts.
We will see.
That's what his job is. I mean, when he gets up in the morning, he puts on whatever kind of men's warehouse thing he's got going. He comes and he goes, I'm getting him today.
Yes.
I'm getting him today. And I got to
There-
tell you, he's good at that. I would say that this
Who's? Oh, you'll be like, what? You don't know who Malcolm X is? Who the fuck is Malcolm X? And did Malcolm X die? Because I'm expecting Sailor to die off. Malcolm X. Rings a bell, does it? Malcolm X. Black man from Mississippi. Black man from Omaha, Nebraska. Assassinated. There you go. Steezy, if you're watching. History rhyming. Old Jim Cramer's seen it in the tea leaves. Michael Saylor's getting assassinated, whether it's financially or physically. There will be an end to Michael Saylor eventually. All main characters die in crypto. Here's something for you. Okay, so I've got a lot of respect for this fellow. He's called Cheds, but this is just a stock standard. So I can show it's getting a bit. Stock standard fucking. This is a stock standard example of wild calls early and then doubling down with a personal attachment to the call and then making a reasoning for it, explaining for it. If it's a fundamental trade or thesis, it should be able to be easily explained to a child. That's my opinion. Let's have a look at what Cheds is doing. I'm glad he's still going, kicking, fighting that cancer and whatever, so I appreciate Cheds. Let's watch this shit. Here we go.
That is the weekly. Let me give you guys the whole picture here, and then I'll kind of go to the chat. But I think 76K is likely. We'll see the response. I do think we have topped, and I actually think we're going to probably eventually going to go to somewhere between 35 and 45K is my bottom target. I don't know how it gets there. I can't tell you if we're going to do something like this, maybe a head and shoulders. If we're going to have a failed breakout, and recapture of 107, that would be a beautiful short signal, something like we had back here with the 46 to 48K breakout. I don't know. I can't give you the exact squiggles. I can't tell you teletype, the exact progression. But it just makes sense to me that we're going to continue lower. 76K probably won't hold. And I was just kind of looking back at, the size of retracements. I think it was like 86%. And then it was 83% and then 79% in each of these peak to troughs. So I just did a rough napkin, back of the napkin, instead of I think 68% or 69% would get us from the top, would get us back down to around, that's the fib. Get us back down to around that level. Let's go here. Yeah. So just very roughly doing just a little bit milder drop, than the last few times. So that makes sense to me. And then we look at the structure. I had originally thought the lowest it would go in a bear market was about 40K, but I could actually see the price finding support in between these two ranges here, in between here and here. So that's why I'm kind of targeting this as a super, super nut low. We'll see. Long ways to go, and I would love to be proven wrong. But that's my high time frame picture. It's really hard because we just topped and we're rolling over. It's really hard to anticipate exactly the next couple days or even week or two. I know a lot of people are thinking about a bouncing to a lower high somewhere, and that would be logical. It's hard to know where that might be. Underside here would make sense, 107K, even underside of 99K. Now, given that's the case, and this is the speech I've been saying to Bitcoin Live, given that's the case, you want to mark out a level that would make you change your mind, right? You want to mark out a level that make you think, well, maybe it's not going lower. Maybe this is a deviation, whatever.
No, I actually truly like his TA. I like everything about that, to be fair. Truly, I like everything about his TA just then. But I just think way early.
That is the
Where is it? Just to chat about it real quick. I could see there's a knot there. All right, there's a low. You know, if you ran a channel across those, simply ran a channel, dragged it down to the lows here, you'd find probably the next low to be in the 40s, 50Ks. I do think that's I just think that's basic, simple, perfect, just reasonable TA would work ridiculously well on an altcoin. I just need to be like I would say that's possible. I would say it's possible now, but I just need to see obviously more evidence. Like we haven't even broken down and closed below these previous lows here, right? So it's technically we haven't actually had a lower low. We haven't had a lower low yet. We haven't had a lower high yet. We haven't had any of that. We haven't had anything yet, basically. It's just the market's still uptrending. To get too far ahead of ourselves. Everybody just loves. Did I say loves? Loves the top time. You know, it's fun. It's sick. Nobody's ever around at bottom time, usually. But yeah, technically that's sound, basic analysis, makes sense. And you know, in hindsight, when we look back and Bitcoin does get down to the 40s, we'll be like, wow, okay. But what I'm saying is like, a lot of time you'll see crazy ass global world events that have led us to these prices that you never thought they would happen, and then you look back, you're like, oh well, that makes heaps of sense. Technically speaking, that was sort of always going to go down to 45k and reach that knot. Look at the channel, look at the knot, look at the liquidity, look at all that sort of stuff. Exactly what he just said. But then there's like been like another pandemic, or the fucking stock market's fully crashed, and there's been a war or something, and you're like, how did that? You know what I mean? Like that was always going to get there in hindsight, but it needed a global black swan to get there. But then how did we know that? You know, we didn't know that the black swan was obviously going to happen. So it's just like, that happens so often. It's ridiculous. It's almost simulation theory. Peter Brandt reckons there has been 5 major bull market cycles. I think Peter Brandt works with Cheds actually. So in BTC, so you might be in the same boat. In all previous cycles, the violation of the dominant parabolic advance has been followed by a 75% minus 75% plus correction, no exceptions. You better have a great reason to bet against this pattern. So I actually commented on this somewhere. Verified accounts or account. I think I'm verified, or maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I commented on here. And I said to him that, because he's talking about how this is just, you know, sticking to the parabolic line, sticking to the hockey stick, sticking to the hockey stick, sticking to the hockey stick, and then it doesn't. Every time it's broken down there, it's gone down 75%. I commented on it saying that if it doesn't, he'll just move the line. Like, for example, he'll just skip these lows, bring the line out, more of a rounded thing, and just go like this. Because, look, he's done that. I mean, he's done that basically there. That was a low. He skipped that. That was a low. That was a low. He skipped that. So, that was a low. Like, he's just picking and choosing where he puts the lows. So, yeah, that's the thing with these. If you're talking about anything that's like diagonally forming, day with a grain of salt, because they just change it as they wish. What's this? It's the Zesty ETH shill. Here we go. What's he got to say?
We know we're in the midst of a downturn for crypto prices. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the ones everyone is watching because they're the 2 largest, and Bitcoin, of course, is the flagship. I think we are so close to the bottom here, especially for Ethereum. I mean, the bottom could be happening this week or within the next 4 days. And from there, we are going to have, I think, a V-shaped recovery because of the liquidity that's coming as the shutdown has ended, the US government shutdown. And also because the central bank, I think, is tilting dovish, especially with a potentially new Fed chair. That, I think, should propel prices very strongly into the end of January. And that's where I think Ethereum, could be $7,000 to 9,000, and I believe Bitcoin is going to recover to past its all-time high. We know we're in the midst.
All right, so everything that he said there lines up with all the news that we covered previously, so we shall see. Real quick, Bitcoin's never dropped below its electrical cost of mining a Bitcoin, current 71, yep, so fun fact. I'll save you some time, but this is a good post from this XY guy about picking altcoins in fragile markets. Look for the cockroach, look for the one that continues to make money, look for the one that constantly uptrends over time. He's talking about the Trons, he's talking about the hypes, he's talking about the BNBs, he's talking about the ones that just go up. And he's talking about just like survive all the nukes basically, and the meme coins, the ones that trend and then not trend, the ones that are like pop culture, forget about them. In and out on the pop culture. Their prior returns do not increase their survival odds. Fartcoin, extremely cheap, probability of landing into the failure bucket high. Look for cockroach assets. It's good advice. All right, now for the fun part, let's get into these. Let's get into some charts real quick. What's the time? 20. Yeah, all right. We'll try and speed this up. All right. So what we had here, this is just SUI, just because over here, look on the right hand side, I've got top 100 coins. It's relatively speaking top 100 coins. Yeah, I missed along on Pump Fun. Fuck, that looks good. Look at this shit. Okay, so, oh man. And it hit it too. Wow. That's a prime example of me not being on the computer when I need to be, etc. So what has happened here is we've got a lot of blue bars. Blue bar means new move beginning on a 12-hour time frame. It's where, in my opinion, the start is where you draw the line of the high time frame. So 12 hours where the high time frames begin, in my opinion. It's like where it's the earliest you could jump on a serious big move and confirm it, in my opinion. All right, so 12-hour chart. And you've had heaps of shit like this, right? So what we have is, this is, okay, anything can happen. Precede this by anything can happen at all times, always, right? But statistics and probabilities, if we go off what we know, what we've seen hundreds of millions of times before, we get a blue bar. It means a new move is beginning. And then we get a classic, what's called a head fake. Opposite direction, takes out all the stop losses that are clustered in a certain spot. The market makers and the big players, smart money if you will fill their bags, and then the true direction will continue. So if this is, there are such things as double head fakes, and they're fucking painful, but I mean, if this move is, stock standard, the majority of moves like this, if this is a Rigi-Dig one, then it's just a fucking freight train. This will go all the way into, at least, if it's not a bottom, at least a lower high. Okay, at least a lower high. So, at least something like up to here. Which, again, even if you talk about from now, is 60%, 100% from the lows. So you're looking at something like this coming in store near you, probably very shortly, probability-wise. Be long. So it's across most time frames, massive double bottoms, blue bars at the lows. It's like long your longs, pretty much. Pretty much it, man, because what happens here is the true confirmation is blue bar. So blue bar right there, or is it blue bar right there? Candle close. So once a candle, after obviously sweeping the lows, comes back and closes above the original blue bar candle close, so closes above this line, for example, $1.50, which is going to be, when's that going to be? It's going to be in like an hour and a half. So it'll be like an official head fake long signal on pretty much, all these coins. So you have a look. ZEC still wants to come down to 266 before it puts in a low. The knot's sort of getting played with. This is the first chance of a bottom. Then maybe you might get a quick flash crash to 266 before it turns around. So these are the scragglers in the red here in the top 100. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for things to long, then what you want to do is obviously look for the strength, look for the ones that have been strong recently, look for the BNBs, look for the hypes. What else has been strong recently? H-bar's been strong recently. Solana, Aave's been very strong recently. Look at that. Look how high the low is. Like it couldn't even. So you want to look for that. Pump Fund's been strong recently. Pengu's had this crazy recovery. Sui's having a crazy recovery. Pretty much they're the coins that have looked the strongest that I've been following over the last couple of days in the top 100. What's XRP look like? Similar. It's not bouncing back as strong. I mean, there's always the sell pressure on XRP, but again, yep. So the ones that I've just mentioned, pretty strong coins. This has been strong too, this SEI thing. Oh no, it hasn't. Maybe I'm just thinking of Sui. Yeah, I must just be thinking of Sui. What else starts with an S? Sky. Yeah, I must have been thinking of Sky. It's been crazy. Chart's ugly as fuck though. Look at that. You don't want to touch it, but I'm just saying. So basically those coins that I've said, what you want to do is you want to just like say, for example, BNB, you zoom in and then you go into the Gigastochastic indicator. It's free for all our members. Just send me a DM to get added to the list. You come in, you press a shorter term time frame, maybe like a 30-minute chart, and you put an alert on there like that. So it goes active. See, I just went white there. You want to go find a time frame, but not too greedy. Maybe a 15-minute chart or something. The lower the time frame, the easier the alert's going to trigger, obviously. And you're going to look for an entry. Oh, it's pretty, you'd be lucky to get one in there if this truly is starting to uptrend. But bare minimum, you might be able to enter some here. And then enter some. The real entry would be in this knot if you get a chance, because this is going to be pretty volatile, right? I can't see it going back to 840 though. You're probably most likely going to get something like here. So just looking for higher lows to long on altcoins if you want to play that market. If we just look at Bitcoin real quick, briefly, this is a messy chart because this is the chart that I do all my work on. So probably you're not going to like that, but I mean, look at that. Look at this, like fucking hell, that's all it's done. All it's done here is just take out all the stop losses here and all the stop losses there. You'll see it if we zoom in. All the stop losses here, all the stop losses there. Look at that. So, where the move basically began, where the downtrend stopped, like right there where it was broken. Under that hello, everyone's putting all their stops there. Look at that. All right, that's where that's savage, man. That's how savage it got. Didn't just take the stop losses under here. Didn't just take the stop losses under here. It took no prisoners. Back up into this range. I don't think it will last long in here. It's already been in this range, and it's just fucking onwards and upwards. This is sort of an easy trade, really. Pretty fucking easy. Anything can happen, but I'll be surprised if it doesn't hit maybe 90. You're probably looking at, so now flip and think short side liquidity. So look something above these highs here. So 96k target on Bitcoin, altcoins to follow. Take it easy. That'll do. Talk soon. Talk tomorrow. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.